You've been lied to about kindness, told that being nice gets you loved, that being agreeable gets you respected. But look around. Who actually commands rooms? Who never gets their boundaries crossed? It's never the people pleasers. Here's what's going to happen. I'm about to give you one rule that will immediately change how people treat you. Ready? Never explain yourself to people who don't deserve explanations. That's it. Someone questions your boundary? Don't justify it. Someone criticizes your choice? Don't defend it. Someone demands your time? Don't rationalize why you can't give it. Just don't. Watch how differently people start treating you when your decisions aren't up for debate. But here's the thing. This rule only works if you understand the deeper psychology behind it. And that's what we're diving into today. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your need to be liked has been sabotaging your entire life, how to break free from the approval addiction that's keeping you powerless, and most importantly, how to command the respect you've been desperately seeking through all the wrong methods. Let's see how this all comes together. You were 4 years old when they first taught you to betray yourself. Say thank you to the nice lady. Give your uncle a hug. Don't make a scene. Small moments, innocent enough. But each time you swallowed your discomfort to make someone else happy, each time you smiled when you wanted to cry, each time you said yes when everything in you screamed no, you were learning a devastating lesson. Your feelings matter less than other people's comfort. Fast forward 20, 30, 40 years, you're still doing it, still betraying yourself for scraps of approval, still contorting yourself into whatever shape you think will make people like you more. Someone cuts in line, you say nothing. A friend cancels last minute for the third time, you just smile and say, no worries. Someone takes credit for your idea in a meeting, you bite your tongue and let it slide. You know what you're really doing? You're training people to walk all over you. And the worst part? You think you're being the bigger person. You've become a master of reading rooms, shifting personalities, anticipating needs. You pride yourself on being low maintenance, easygoing, accommodating. You think these are virtues. They're not. They're symptoms. Symptoms of a deep, unconscious belief that you're not enough as you are, that your worth is contingent on other people's approval, that love is something you have to earn by erasing the parts of yourself that might inconvenience others. And here's the brutal truth. It's not working. Look at it this way. When was the last time someone truly respected you for being a pushover? When did someone look at your endless flexibility and consider you leadership material? Never happens. Because deep down, everyone understands that someone who can't stand up for themselves can't stand up for anyone else either. Someone who doesn't value their own time can't effectively manage anyone else's. Someone who can't say no to things they don't want can't fully say yes to things they do want. Look at the people who actually get respect in your life. Your toughest boss, your most principled friend, that colleague who somehow never gets interrupted in meetings. What do they all have in common? They're not the nicest people. They're not the most agreeable. They're certainly not the most accommodating. They're the ones who have standards, who enforce boundaries, who make it clear that respecting them isn't optional. It's the price of entry to their world. Meanwhile, you're over here thinking that if you just accommodate one more unreasonable request, if you just absorb one more person's bad mood, if you just say yes one more time when you want to say no, then finally, people will see how valuable you are. But here's what actually happens. The more you give, the more they expect. The more you bend, the more they push. The more available you make yourself, the less they value your time. You've been playing a rigged game, believing that if you just accommodate enough, bend enough, smile enough, eventually you'll get the respect and love you crave. But you've been trying to earn something that can't be earned through self-abandonment. Respect isn't given to people who don't respect themselves. Every choice to prioritize being liked over being respected guarantees you'll get neither. Society sold you a beautiful lie. Be nice and good things will happen to you. Your parents meant well. Your teachers tried their best. But they taught you to survive in a world that no longer exists, if it ever did. They taught you that compliance equals safety, that agreeableness equals acceptance, that self-sacrifice equals love. They were wrong. But the lie goes deeper than just bad advice. There's an entire system designed to keep you seeking approval, because people who need validation are easier to control, easier to manipulate, easier to exploit. Consider who benefits when you can't say no. Your boss who knows you'll work late without extra pay. Your friend who knows you'll drop everything when they call. Your family who knows you'll show up to every obligation, no matter how it affects your own life. The approval economy is a scam, and you're the product being sold. Every social media platform is designed to keep you hungry for likes, comments, shares, little hits of external validation that keep you producing content, consuming content, staying plugged into a system that profits from your insecurity. Now imagine what's really twisted about this whole setup. It works because approval feels like a drug. Someone gives you a compliment, likes your post, tells you you're great, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that's released when people do actual drugs. You feel good, really good. And just like any drug, once that high wears off, you need another hit. The people around you figure out this pattern real quick. They learn that a little bit of approval can get you to do almost anything. Need you to work overtime? Some praise about your work ethic. Need you to lend them money? A compliment about how generous you are. Need you to ignore their shitty behavior? Some sweet talk about how understanding you are. They're literally using your brain chemistry against you. And the worst part? You're helping them do it by being so desperate for validation that you'll take whatever scraps they throw your way. This is why approval addiction is so dangerous. It makes you easy to control. People know exactly which buttons to push to get you to do what they want. They don't have to force you or threaten you. They just have to give you a tiny bit of the validation you're craving, and you'll bend over backwards for them. Meanwhile, every workplace culture that celebrates team players and going above and beyond is actually celebrating people who can't set boundaries, who will sacrifice their well-being for the company's bottom line. Every relationship dynamic that punishes you for having needs while rewarding you for meeting everyone else's needs is teaching you that your value lies in your utility, not your humanity. And the most insidious part? The system makes you feel guilty for wanting respect. It calls you selfish when you prioritize your needs. It labels you difficult when you have boundaries. It shames you for wanting to be valued for who you are, not just what you do for others. But what they won't admit is this. The people running this system, the ones profiting from your people-pleasing, the ones who call you selfish for having standards, they're not following the same rules they're forcing on you. Your boss who demands loyalty doesn't hesitate to fire you when it suits them. Your friend who calls you selfish for saying no has no problem cancelling on you when something better comes along. Your family who guilts you for changing had no problem molding you to fit their needs your entire childhood. The game is rigged. The rules are designed to keep you giving while others take. And the moment you try to level the playing field, suddenly, you're the problem. You're not the problem. The system that taught you to betray yourself for crumbs of approval is the problem. The question is, are you going to keep playing by rules that guarantee you lose? Let me paint you a picture of what approval addiction actually costs you. It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed, replaying a conversation from earlier. Did you come across wrong? Did they seem annoyed? Should you have said something different? Your mind won't shut off because somewhere in that interaction, you sensed disapproval, and now your nervous system is in overdrive. This is your life. A constant state of hypervigilance, monitoring everyone else's emotional temperature, adjusting your behavior based on micro-expressions and tone changes that might not even mean what you think they mean. You've become a hostage to other people's moods. But the cost goes deeper than anxiety and sleepless nights. You've lost yourself. Think about it. When was the last time you knew what you actually wanted, separate from what you thought others wanted from you? When did you last have an opinion that you expressed regardless of how it would be received? When did you last make a decision based solely on what felt right to you? You can't remember, can you? Because you've spent so long performing the version of yourself that gets the most approval that you've forgotten who you actually are underneath all the masks. You've become a collection of personas: the helpful friend, the reliable employee, the accommodating partner, the understanding child. Each one carefully crafted to minimize conflict and maximize likability. But none of them are actually you. And people sense this. Even when they can't articulate it, they know they're not dealing with a real person. They're dealing with someone who's constantly calculating the right response. Someone who's more concerned with being liked than being authentic. This is why your relationships feel shallow, even when you're giving everything. You're not actually in them. The real you is hidden behind layers of people-pleasing performance art. You've become exhausted, constantly monitoring, adjusting, performing. It's fucking exhausting. You're running a one-person theatre company where every show is improvised and the audience's approval determines whether you eat that night. No wonder you're tired all the time. No wonder you feel drained after social interactions. No wonder you need so much alone time to recharge. You're not recharging. You're recovering from the effort of being someone else. You've lost your power. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you teach people that your preferences don't matter. Every time you accept disrespect to avoid conflict, you train people that you're safe to disrespect. Every time you change your position to match the room, you show people that your convictions are for sale. You've made yourself powerless by making your approval so cheap and your disapproval so inconsequential. And the cruelest irony? All this effort to be liked often makes you less likable. People are drawn to authenticity, strength, consistency. They respect people who know who they are and aren't afraid to be it. They trust people whose words and actions align. By trying so hard to be everything to everyone, you've become nothing to most people. Generic, forgettable, safe but unremarkable. This is the fracture, the split between who you are and who you perform. And it's killing the very thing you're trying so desperately to protect, your ability to be genuinely loved and respected. Something will fundamentally shift in how you see every interaction for the rest of your life when you understand this. Every relationship is a power dynamic. Someone's setting the terms, someone's following them, someone's in control, someone's being controlled. And if you don't know who's in control, it's not you. Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago. He wasn't advocating for cruelty, he was revealing the uncomfortable truth about human nature. People don't respect what they can easily control. They don't value what comes without cost. They don't protect what they can easily replace. This is the dark psychology of respect. It must be commanded, not requested. Notice the people in your life who truly command respect. Your toughest boss, your most principled friend, that person who somehow never gets their boundaries crossed. What do they all have in common? They're not trying to be liked. They're not explaining themselves constantly. They're not bending over backwards to accommodate everyone. They've made it clear that respecting them isn't optional. It's the price of admission to their life. This isn't about being an asshole. This isn't about being cruel or manipulative. This is about understanding that respect is based on one simple principle: consequence. When people know that crossing you will cost them something, access to you, your help, your presence, your energy, they don't cross you. When people know that disrespecting you is free, they disrespect you. It's that simple. Most people completely misunderstand where respect actually comes from. They think respect comes from being impressive, successful, or perfect. That's not respect. That's admiration. Respect comes from consistency, from having standards and maintaining them, from being someone whose boundaries actually mean something. The fear factor that nobody talks about. Now, when Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved," he wasn't talking about being a tyrant. He was talking about consequences. Fear in this context doesn't mean terror. It means knowing there's a cost to crossing someone. Observe the people you most respect. Do you fear them in the sense that you're terrified? No, but you do fear disappointing them, losing their respect, or being cut off from their wisdom and presence. That's the kind of fear that breeds respect. When someone knows that disrespecting you will result in them losing access to you, your time, your help, your friendship, your professional collaboration, they think twice before they disrespect you. But when someone knows they can treat you however they want and you'll still be there, smiling and accommodating the next day, they have no reason to change their behavior. You've made yourself safe to disrespect. And once you're safe to disrespect, respect becomes impossible. Scarcity creates value, applied to you. Basic economics explains why being constantly available makes you less valued. When something is abundant, it's cheap. When something is scarce, it's precious. You've made yourself abundant, always available, always accommodating, always saying yes. You've flooded the market with yourself, driving down your own value. Transform this dynamic by becoming selective. When your time becomes limited, your attention becomes earned. Your presence becomes a privilege rather than a given. Suddenly, people start paying attention. They start appreciating what they took for granted. They start treating your time like the finite resource it actually is. This isn't game playing. This is recognizing that your energy is not unlimited, your time is not infinite, and treating these resources with the respect they deserve. The psychology of control. Here's what approval seekers don't understand. Every time you modify your behavior to get someone's approval, you're handing them control over your actions. Every time you bite your tongue to avoid conflict, you're giving them control over your voice. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you're giving them control over your choices. Every time you change your opinion to match the room, you're giving them control over your beliefs. You've basically handed other people the remote control to your life. But people who command respect, they keep that remote control for themselves. They speak their mind regardless of how others react. They make decisions based on what they want, not what others expect. They set the terms of every interaction instead of accepting whatever terms others offer. This is why confident people seem so magnetic. It's not that they're necessarily more talented or attractive. It's that they're psychologically self-contained. They don't need external validation to function, which makes them unpredictable and therefore compelling. The unpredictability factor. Predictable people are controllable people. When others know exactly how you'll react to every situation, they can manipulate those reactions to get what they want. But unpredictability? That's power. When people can't predict your response, they can't control it. They have to actually consider how their actions might affect you instead of assuming you'll just absorb whatever they dish out. This doesn't mean being chaotic or inconsistent. It means being strategically unpredictable, sometimes generous, sometimes firm, sometimes available, sometimes not, sometimes flexible, sometimes immovable. Keep people guessing about which version of you they're going to get, and they'll start approaching you with more consideration. The moment you stop being predictably accommodating, you become psychologically fascinating to people. They can't figure you out, which means they can't control you, which means they have to actually respect you. Now we get to the practical transformation. These aren't just tactics, they're a complete rewiring of how you show up in the world. Rule 1, speak less, impact more. Stop over-explaining yourself. Stop justifying your decisions to people who wouldn't make better ones. Stop filling silence with nervous chatter. When someone questions your boundary, don't launch into a dissertation about why boundaries matter. Just enforce it. When someone challenges your decision, don't defend it. Just stick to it. When someone tries to guilt you into changing your mind, don't explain why guilt tactics don't work. Just remain unmoved. Your silence speaks louder than your explanations ever could. This mechanism explains why over-explaining weakens your position. When you over-explain, you're basically saying, "I'm not sure about this decision myself, so let me try to convince you, and myself, that it's right." But when you state something and let it stand without justification, you're communicating unshakable certainty. People respect certainty. They question doubt. Rule 2. Make your no mean something. Your no should be a complete sentence, not the beginning of a negotiation. When you say no and then immediately start explaining why, you're teaching people that your no is actually maybe if you can convince me otherwise. But when your no stands alone, when it's delivered with calm certainty and no room for debate, people learn that your decisions aren't up for discussion. This takes practice. Your people-pleasing conditioning will scream at you to soften it, explain it, apologize for it. Don't. Let your no be clean, clear, and final. Watch what happens. The first few times you do this, people will be shocked. They'll push back, ask for reasons, try to negotiate, hold firm. After a few interactions like this, they'll stop trying to override your decisions because they'll know it doesn't work. Rule 3. Stop rewarding bad behavior. This one's huge. Every time someone disrespects you and you respond normally, you're training them to disrespect you. Friend cancels last minute again? Don't just say, "No worries," and immediately reschedule. Let them experience the consequence of unreliability. Colleague takes credit for your work? Don't just internally seethe and hope it doesn't happen again. Address it directly or remove your collaboration. Family member constantly interrupts you? Don't keep talking louder to compete. Stop talking and let the interruption hang in the air. People learn through consequences, not conversations. You can explain respect to someone 100 times, but if there's never a cost to disrespecting you, they'll keep doing it. Rule 4. Become strategically unavailable. Availability without boundaries has trained people to expect instant access to you. Break this pattern deliberately. Don't respond to texts immediately every time. Don't be available for every social invitation. Don't drop everything when someone needs you for non-emergencies. This isn't about being rude. It's about training people to value your time by demonstrating that it's limited. When your presence becomes something people have to earn rather than something they can assume, its value increases exponentially. The psychology behind strategic unavailability is simple. When something is always available, we take it for granted. When something becomes scarce, we suddenly appreciate it. You've been training people to take you for granted by being endlessly available. Rule 5. Stay calm under fire. When someone tries to provoke you, insult you, or push your buttons, your reaction determines everything. If you get emotional, defensive, or angry, they win. They've proven they can control your emotional state, which means they have power over you. But if you stay completely calm, if you respond to their attack with cool indifference, or even slight amusement, you've just demonstrated that they can't touch you psychologically. This calmness is terrifying to people who depend on emotional manipulation. It shows them that their usual tactics don't work on you. Practice this. When someone tries to get a rise out of you, imagine you're watching a child have a tantrum. You don't get angry at the child, you observe with detached interest. That's the energy you want to bring to people trying to manipulate your emotions. Rule 6. Let actions speak. Don't tell people you're different now. Show them through your behavior. Don't announce that you're setting boundaries, just set them. Don't explain that you're done being taken advantage of. Just stop allowing it. Don't declare that you demand respect. Just start commanding it through your actions. People don't believe what you say. They believe what you consistently do. Rule 7. The strategic delay. When someone crosses a boundary or disrespects you, resist the urge to respond immediately, unless it's urgent. Give yourself 48 hours. This serves multiple purposes. It prevents you from reacting emotionally. It shows you're not desperately seeking immediate reconciliation. It gives them time to realize what they did. It demonstrates that your responses are thoughtful, not reactive. When you do respond after this time, you're responding from a place of power, not emotion. Rule 8. Enforce boundaries swiftly and silently. When someone crosses a line, the speed and clarity of your response matters more than the severity. A swift, proportional consequence teaches the lesson better than a delayed, harsh punishment, and silence often speaks louder than explanations. Don't warn people multiple times. Don't give second chances to the same behavior. Don't explain why their behavior was wrong. Just implement the consequence immediately and move on. This teaches everyone around you that your boundaries are real, not suggestions. The beautiful thing about these rules is that they're self-reinforcing. The more you implement them, the more people respect you. The more people respect you, the easier it becomes to maintain these standards. You're not just changing your behavior, you're changing your entire relationship with power, with yourself, with the world. Here's what happens when you stop chasing approval and start commanding respect. First, you'll lose some people. The ones who only valued you for your availability, your compliance, your willingness to absorb their bullshit without consequence. Let them go. These weren't real relationships anyway. They were extraction arrangements disguised as friendships. But the relationships that survive this transformation will become deeper, more genuine, more fulfilling than anything you've experienced as a people pleaser. Because for the first time, people will be relating to the real you, not the performance version. Second, you'll discover who you actually are underneath all the masks. Your real opinions, your actual preferences, your authentic personality. It might be scary at first. You've been hiding from yourself for so long that meeting the real you feels like meeting a stranger. But this stranger is powerful. This stranger has standards. This stranger doesn't negotiate their worth or explain their existence. Third, opportunities will start flowing toward you instead of you chasing them. People respect those who respect themselves. They trust those who have clear boundaries. They want to work with those who can't be manipulated or controlled. When you stop being everyone's yes person, you become someone's perfect choice. Machiavelli once said, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand." Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. The question is, what are you appearing to be? Someone who can be walked over? Someone whose time is unlimited? Someone whose respect is optional? Or someone who knows their worth and won't accept anything less? The choice is yours. But remember, in a world full of people desperately trying to be liked, the person who doesn't need approval holds all the cards. Stop performing for approval. Start commanding respect. Your future self, the one who walks into rooms and changes the energy, who speaks and people listen, who sets boundaries and people honor them, is waiting for you to make this choice. How long are you going to make them wait? Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose respect over approval. The transformation starts